It's cheaper to buy a 4-pack of frozen breakfast sandwiches than to buy a dozen eggs. So, what?
Are you gonna go to the store?
I'm going to go to the store tomorrow, okay?
Because I'm going with friends tomorrow.
Okay.
And I want some snacks.
Okay, I'll go to the store before you get off work. Or before you get off school.
I'm gonna pick up my mom.
Well, you can walk just down 2 houses and grab some snacks. So obviously, I mean, everybody is sick of the food costs right now, how much everything is costing. I have like so much more of an appreciation for the food bank now, because if you add up all the stuff that they're giving you for free, and they're basically the essentials that you really need, you know, it's quite valuable of a tool to have at your disposal. I was just grabbing kind of like in between your big shopping groceries, like not really that much. And I live right next to Safeway, so they're not really that cheap either, but they did come out with their own like generic brand, like a lot more product in their generic brands. So that's cool. But I browsed by the eggs. A dozen is $6. Not gonna happen. Hell no, that's not, like, nope. A dozen eggs in my house will go in 2 to 3 days. It will not last more than 3 days. I can tell you that much. So add in the cost, say one thing of bacon, or 2 things of sausage, ground sausage, because I like to make eggs, toast, and some kind of meat for the kids for breakfast. They like that. But why is it cheaper to buy pre-made breakfast sandwiches in the quantities of 4 in a packet, and then just get like some cereal and milk for the kids with the breakfast sandwiches? I'm actually saving money because I can spread that out more mornings and then just skip breakfast myself. Like, I'm not in that dire of a situation, but I have been before. And I know there's ways to stretch it. I'll tell you one thing I've started doing already for a while now. When I get a pack of bacon, I will just chop that bacon straight in half, so it lasts a lot longer, because it's kind of a necessity if you want to have that kind of food. Otherwise, I just skip it. But I cannot afford to be making 3 to 5 course meals for my family every night anymore. And there are some times where I've noticed that doing the cheap, frozen meals, and I'm not talking about like Banquet, I'm not doing that, but not really anymore, but like getting crap food at McDonald's, all this is cheaper than making your own food. It's cheaper than cooking your own food. And I've gone through phases of doing everything. There was a time when I was on substances, so I didn't have my kids at the time, just so you know, so they weren't like only eating McDonald's, but like I literally only ate Reese's Fast Breaks and hot and spices from McDonald's for like a steady year. I don't know how I'm alive, but I am. But I do like to cook food now. That, I mean, I've been doing great for long enough that the unhealthy living is not, I'm happy to be able to cook dinner for my kids. And I'm telling you, I'm not going to be able to keep doing it without getting on food stamps. I also am not getting any state assistance anymore, and it's actually really super important to me because I don't want to pay my taxes. And so if I don't want to pay my taxes, I'm not going to get any kind of state or federal assistance because, well, that's crossing the line into theft, in my opinion. Just because there are people that are paying into that and not expecting it to be spent that way. I don't want to piss people off by saying that. There's a way to rip off your government. You can. And then there's a way of also ripping yourselves and your fellow countrymen off at the same time because, you know, we're all paying these taxes. Well, I'm trying to figure out, I don't know, I might have to do some taxes. Because, well, I started like my own cleaning business thing, but I have multiple people that are going to 1099 me, so I'm pretty sure I have to do like something, and I'm going to have to like bite it and just pay some money. And honestly, I wouldn't mind paying like a state tax just to, you know, Arizona is freaking broke, and I'm not into paying the taxes, but I'm also not informing myself well enough to be involved in how that tax money is actually spent, which everybody has the place to do, and that's how a republic is supposed to be. But, you know, people don't even really understand that. It's, you know, I also have multiple felonies, which is a huge barrier from me doing anything. Like right now, if the IRS came knocking at my door, the only thing I would have to tell them is I don't like how you spend the money on genocide in other countries. That's literally the only thing I have to tell them. And then I'll probably end up getting charges from that. But I'm not willing to tell them anything else because it's true. Stop spending that money on crap. You know what I mean? I don't mind a communal, like, I am not selfish with my money. And for the greater good, I do donate money to multiple, I don't care. Who cares? I'm just saying, like, handing my money, my hard-earned money over to the government is not something I want to do anymore after knowing what I know now. Do I want to go to federal prison? No, they do not let you smoke cigarettes there. In state prison in Arizona, they still let you smoke cigarettes. Yeah, cigarettes are gross, but they're probably the reason why I'm not back in prison. What was I talking about in the first place? What the hell am I doing? What are Ing and I doing? Because he is also in this. Well, we're going to pick up laundry, and the kids are at home, and my daughter is really picky about her clothes, and I don't have a washer and dryer in my house. So, yeah. Like, death penalty. Like, before I start discussing that, I just kind of want to know how people feel about the death penalty in general. I cannot place myself on any side of this. Like, I just can't. I think, I don't know, like growing up, I heard the phrase, 2 wrongs don't make a right all the time. It's kind of ingrained in me. But there are situations where I think death begets death. Like, it will bring death right back to you when you kill someone sometimes. But waiting for the law to deal with it and all that shit, that's where I no, like, who the fuck would want to be an executioner? You know, and they got this kind of immunity, an executioner does, that a prosecutor has, you know. And let me tell you something. There's going to come a day when those prosecutors and those executors will have to face every decision they've made Every single one. And I'm not even worried about that because, yeah, I don't care about that. But I'm just saying, like, if somebody did some heinous crime to somebody I love, I feel like, I don't know. Like, I was talking to my son about death penalty. He's 17, okay? And he's like, yeah, but like, you know, if someone kills someone you love, you want that other person to die. And it just, it like bounced off the inside of me when he said that. And just like ping-ponged all over inside of me. And I was like, oh my God. So conflicted. Like, is that true? Is that true? Because it just seems like a faceless enemy that is always killing people. People killing people is like a faceless enemy. And yeah, kill me, I'll kill you back. I'll get you back. Right? I don't think that's how it works. I just don't. Retribution should be swift. It should be served up front by the most subtle executioner. Executioner. Could you be an executioner? My grandpa was in the Marines, and he did, like, I don't know the specifics of it. He really didn't talk much about anything, really. He also was a retired New York State Trooper, but he played the bugle or something like that. Doesn't sound very manly, but he was a manly man. At funerals and did stuff like that. That's what my grandpa did that. And he was a different breed. Like, he found his father deceased from suicide, and then he found his mother deceased from mass wasting 3 weeks later. And he also found his second cousin deceased from suicide. And so, like, my grandpa was not this, like, things didn't hit him. Like, once you go through things like that, I imagine you carry things different. And, like, my grandpa wasn't really, like, death didn't bother him. But he could not work at a prison. That was the worst job he ever had, he told me. He was a prison guard at Florence State Prison in here in Arizona. And it was pretty lit when he worked there. There was a couple riots, scared the shit out of him. But he was well liked. He was, you know, he was a state trooper in New York, and he was good with people. He was a very quiet man, but he was a very fair man. But yeah, he hated working in the prison. He couldn't handle it because of how inhumane it was. That's what he thought. So, is death inhumane? Like, if life is inhumane, would death not be reprieve? I don't even know if this absolute rant of a video will be accepted by YouTube because I forgot to censor and like substitute a bunch of words. And I also went so left field in so many different times in this recording that I could not replicate it either. So if you're hearing this, I don't know why I put this up on YouTube, but so there's 3 things that were topics in this video of rising food costs. So here's something I've been doing that you might think is really weird and just kind of ick, but don't get the ick of me. But I've been watching these 50s and nostalgia cooking YouTube things, and it just, like, they don't give you instructions on how to make the meals, but they literally give you the ingredients, and they're all like, oh, they even do like Depression era dishes. So like, I'm trying to learn how to, because I still want to cook, but I don't have the money to do it. So I'm trying to watch these videos to learn how they used to stretch their meals out and keep the bellies full and everything. Because if we think it's bad now, well, we don't know if it's going to get worse or not in terms of food costs, food shortages. We know that they've done their little social experiments. That's what worries me. They do their supply chain shit. They start all these little, even food processing plants getting burned down. Like, they do like all these things that all actually have an effect on us in the long run. So it makes me think it's premeditated, of course. It's just a paranoia that I generally carry about me. But we have to be prepared. We have to be prepared. And yeah, it's good to eat healthy and not do all this processed stuff, blah, blah, blah. Nobody can afford that anymore. And if you can, what's up? You know, I want us to start really focusing on, like, what are we gonna do? I'm gonna start making videos of edible plants so that, but it's mostly gonna be in Arizona, you guys, because then a lot of my YouTube peoples are in Arizona anyways. But we have to be prepared for if the food is not waiting for us to just come be served it. Like, are you going to be able to eat still? And then, you know, I've been thinking about this death penalty thing. I really don't know how to, I don't have anything good to say about it. Like, but maybe you guys can pick it up from there and make some videos about it, or let's have some discussion about it. Maybe on Chiefs Live or something, you know? But, that's relevant because they're doing their little social experiments around the death penalty right now. If they're going to bring back, okay, so like, it's just like methods of disposing of people sentenced to death is the same. It's the same concept as warfare. You don't go back to what you used to do. You move forward and you innovate. You don't go back. So firing squad, it's ridiculous, dude. Like, what better way to breed a new generation of psychos? Come on. And to me, that's just common sense. Well, I just got home with my laundry and now I gotta fold it, put it away, just do a bunch of stuff. It's the only way I could make a video right now was on a drive, and I know you couldn't see me for like a bunch of it. It's okay, you're not missing out on nothing. But these are topics of discussion. They're good topics of discussion. I have an uneasy feeling about the near future in America. I mean, what's it? The Gulf of America? The Gulf of America? Sickening.